I don't know what this outfit is trying to be. I got like hood chick up top with the lips, and then I got lesbian lumberjack down the bottom, but I don't feel like taking the shirt off, so let's get into it. What's up, YouTube? How you feeling? How you living? What's good? It's your girl Francine. Today is Saturday, which means to say that Saturday when we say what we need to say and get it all out. And today we are talking about how to break the stigma of mental illness in not just this country, even though, we talk about the United States a lot, mainly because they don't really take it very seriously. A, and B, we don't have health insurance, so we can't get help like everybody else. Every other first world country that has universal health care. But let's get into starting off with why. Why do we need to break the stigma? I mean, why can't you just get your help? Why do we need to talk about it? Why do we need to have a whole thing about it? Why is there a month? People always get mad when we have months about things. But I'm going to keep those comments to myself. Anyway, why do we have a month? Mental Health Awareness Month. And I think the biggest reason is because when we make it a taboo, when we make it something that we kind of got to keep quiet and let's not talk about it, then it makes it seem like it's like bad, right? Like having a mental illness is bad. Like you have that one cousin or that one friend who's always depressed and you're kind of like, ugh, she's like, why she's always talking about being depressed? Like instead of being like, you know what, we should get her some help, right? Because that's what she needs. And I think when we think of it as a taboo, it makes sometimes makes the mental illness worse. I think, especially like when I think of my depression, I think like, I don't want to talk about it because I feel like, again, I'm, the same trope, you're bringing everybody down. And B, like, nobody cares. And if you feel like nobody cares, it's going to be a lot harder to get the help you need. So I think that making it aware and putting the stories out there, like I talked about my story, I talked about how different celebrities have put their stories out there. I think a lot of times that makes it helpful for people who may think that they're weird or they're different, like they shouldn't talk about it. So I think that's why we need to break the stigma. And I'm saying break the stigma because that's the hashtag for Mental Health Awareness Month this year. And so I think that's the number one thing. But number two, I think a lot of times when we realize as a society that something's a problem, it usually gets a lot more help. Now, I just lied to myself because I know that's not how things happen. We've been talking about plenty of things that is a problem that has not changed. Police brutality. Oh, excuse me. That's not what this video is about. But sometimes when we talk about something being a problem, it ends up getting some help. But maybe that'll be for mental illness. If we talk about it and consistently keep it in people's faces and talk about the different problems, then maybe something will be done to make things change. I talked about multiple times this month about how mental health doesn't get a lot of funding. They end up cutting funding and putting people in jail and having people homeless, and it needs to get more publicity because maybe they'll put funding into it. Maybe they'll decide to actually do something about it. Especially now, I keep saying with COVID-19, they're gonna need to put a lot of money into mental health because a lot of people's mental health is getting a kick right now. And I think maybe getting it out there will make people realize that we need to do something. But how do we break the stigma? Again, like I said, get your stories out there, talk about your your personal mental health journey, spreading the word about the statistics like I did yesterday, how massive of a number 1 in 5 people deal with a mental illness. Like this is not just something that's like your weird cousin has like depression. Like this is like a number of people that have depression or anxiety. Like the numbers are huge. Especially like yesterday when I found out how many children deal with this. Like I know when I was a kid, I definitely dealt with anxiety and depression, but it's so common and that so many children have to deal with this, and a lot of them don't get the help that they need and end up, like I said, with juvenile detention centers. It's a massive issue. So getting our stories out there, of course, politics matter. So I'm gonna do a whole month on voting, even though I know a lot of people don't think it's important. A lot of people don't think their voice matters. Voting is important. It is, because the people that you have on every level, from the city council member to the the judge, to all types of whoever you vote for. It matters in the legislation, so that maybe we can get some funding, because funding comes from governments, into mental health more often. So yeah, I know people don't like talking about voting, but it is important in that way, especially for your little elections in each city, or your state elections, even your county elections. Like, they're really important. Another way we break the stigma is dealing with, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess bullying. I guess the idea of the stigma in and of itself about mental illness, and how it's something that, like, the way we look at it as a whole, because we can get our stories out there, but then, you know, oh wow, she's weird. I don't know. Like, I was so worried about not getting a job because I talked about my mental health issues on my channel, and it's like, I suffer from depression. Yes, I suffer from anxiety. I also went to law school, passed the bar, and have been a lawyer for 3 years. I'm a capable person. I just have an illness. That's it. It's not, looking at it as, wow, yeah, I don't know if I want to hire her. She might have a mental breakdown. Like, no, you can definitely be very functional, especially if you get the help you need, and have a mental illness. And this idea of, wow, you're just one stressful day away from going crazy, it's not a really good look. And I think another way we break the stigma is to make people accountable. I think a lot of times, like I said, with the bullying and the idea that we can make these people feel bad about themselves for having this issue. Like, I think with a lot of things, when people I don't want to say step out of line, because that sounds bad. Like, I'm like, ooh, step out of line. Like, when people do things that aren't okay, making them accountable for it is a lot of help, because it shows that, no, we don't accept this behavior anymore. That's what a lot of things in society are going to change when we hold people accountable, as we've realized in the recent few weeks. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about breaking the stigma. And that's how, like, if you see somebody talking about mental health and mental illness in a bad way, make them accountable. Don't be like, well, she's just being her. Like, but or if someone's making you feel bad about your mental illness. I remember, I'm not going to name any names or say anything in particular, but I told a person that I had a specific mental illness, or was diagnosed with a mental illness. It was a misdiagnosis, but they made fun of me for a while. Wow, you it's coming out. Your mental illness is coming out. You must be having a mental health issue. And I'm just like, no, I'm just a person with emotions. But that's also like telling that person, I don't appreciate you making fun of my mental health. And I think maybe if we hold people accountable, maybe people will stop doing it, and maybe it'll make people more comfortable with being themselves and getting the help they need. Maybe. Just maybe. With that being said, that's what I got for you today. And if you have any ideas of how to break the stigma, if you have any reasons why we need to break the stigma, if the stigma is kind of what's made you not get help, because I know it's kind of what made me not get help, is the idea that, oh, I'm crazy. And I don't want to get help because I don't want to look like I'm crazy. Then put that in the comments too. I think it's very important to have these discussions, because at the end of the day, society as a whole has to change before the whole situation changes, as we're noticing with a lot of things in the world today. And speaking of that, tomorrow is Sunday, so I'll see y'all tomorrow for the news, because y'all, I'll see y'all tomorrow. And if you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to share this with somebody, hashtag break that stigma, and let them know that we are in this together. We need to do this as a society as a whole. Share this video with somebody you know. And if you're not subscribed, I've been here for like almost 3 months. Just do it. It doesn't hurt. And yeah, like I said, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.